Okay, so you want to own a laundromat. Walk into one at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. 30 machines humming, dryers tumbling, coins dropping. A few people sitting in plastic chairs staring at their phones while the drums spin. And behind the counter, nobody. There is no manager. There is no cashier. There is nobody working here at all. The machines are making money and nobody is here. That is the fantasy, and it is the single most seductive image in American small business. A business with no employees, no inventory, no perishable stock, no reservations, no menu, no salespeople. People need clean clothes the way they need to eat. It doesn't matter if the economy is booming or collapsing. Dirty clothes keep arriving. There are about 20,000 laundromats in the United States, generating roughly $5 billion a year, and they are famous for one thing. The owner isn't there. You collect the coins, you go home. It sounds like the closest thing to free money in the physical world. It is not. By the end of this video, you will understand why a laundromat can out-earn businesses twice its size on a fraction of the footprint. You will understand why the machine you think this business runs on, the washer, is almost the least profitable thing in the room. And you will understand why the fact that nobody is here, the exact feature that makes this business so attractive, is also the thing that can destroy it while you sleep. Let's start with what it costs to get in. There are two ways in, and they are not equally priced. You can build one from scratch in an empty retail space, or you can buy one that already exists. Building means starting with a bare concrete shell and turning it into an industrial facility. Because that is what a laundromat actually is. It is not a store. It is a small industrial plant that the public is allowed to walk into. The equipment is the obvious cost. A commercial front-load washer runs $10,000 to $20,000.
A stacked dryer set runs $5,000 to $10,000. A functioning store needs somewhere between 30 and 60 machines. That alone is $300,000 to $600,000 before anything is bolted to a floor. Then comes the part nobody photographs. The building has to be able to handle it. You need water lines wide enough to feed 40 machines at once, drainage capable of dumping thousands of gallons an hour, gas lines sized for the dryers, and an electrical panel rated for the whole load. Most retail spaces cannot do any of this, which means you are paying for plumbing, trenching the concrete slab, and electrical work that can run $100,000 to $300,000 on its own. And then there is the machine that everything actually depends on, and it is not a washer. It is the water heater. A commercial laundromat needs continuous hot water at volume, a heating system that costs $20,000 to $50,000 and that, when it fails, does not slow your business down. It stops it. Cold water does not clean clothes.
When the heater dies, every washer in the building becomes a very expensive metal box. Build it new and you are in for $250,000 to over $1 million. Buy an existing store and you will pay $200,000 to $1 million, priced off its cash flow, typically 3 to 5 times what it nets in a year. The advantage is you get a business with existing customers. The risk is that you are buying somebody else's aging machines and somebody else's lease. Hold on to that word, the lease. It comes back. Now let's talk about what you're actually selling. You think you are selling clean clothes. You are not. You are selling hot water, gas, electricity, and time. And every one of those things you buy from somebody else at a price you do not control. That is the trap sitting at the center of this business. When a customer puts $4 into a washer, you did not manufacture anything. The water came from the city. The heat came from the gas company. The spin came from the power company.
You bought all of it at retail utility rates and you resold it in tiny increments to a person carrying a laundry basket. Utilities eat 15 to 25% of a laundromat's gross revenue, the single largest operating cost in the building, larger than rent in plenty of stores. You are a utility reseller. And you are a bad one, because you cannot reprice. When the gas company raises its rates 30% next quarter, a normal business raises its prices. You can't. Not easily. Your customer is deeply price sensitive, often by necessity, and there is another laundromat 6 blocks away charging $3.75. Raise your wash to $5, and you will watch a portion of your regulars carry their baskets down the street. So the utility increase lands on you, and it stays on you. Your cost floats. Your price is stuck. And the wash cycle, the thing this business is named after, is where the margin is thinnest. It's the most water, the most heat, the most machine wear, the longest cycle, and the lowest markup.
So the laundromat is a machine that turns utilities into slightly more money than the utilities cost. That's it. That's the business. Except it isn't. Because you're looking at the wrong machine. Here is where the money actually is. Turn around and look at the other wall, the dryers. A dryer does not use expensive hot water. It uses cheap gas and a motor to tumble air. It costs a fraction of a washer to buy and a fraction to run. And it gets fed in a way no washer ever does, in quarters, 6 to 8 minutes at a time, over and over. Here's the mechanism. Nobody in the history of laundry has ever calculated the exact number of minutes required to dry a load. They put in a few quarters, come back, find the towels still slightly damp at the bottom, and put in a few more. They overbuy. Every single time. Not because they're careless, because the alternative is carrying home wet clothes. The dryer is where the margin lives. On the machine that costs the least, using the utility that costs the least, sold in increments the customer systematically overpurchases. But the dryers are only where it starts, because the real money in a modern laundromat isn't in the coins at all. It's in the clothes the customer never touches. Wash, dry, fold. Drop-off service. The customer brings a bag, an attendant weighs it, and it comes back clean and folded at $1.25 to $2.50 a pound. Now look at what changed. The same machines, in the same building, drawing the same utilities. But now you're not selling a $4 cycle. You're selling a $35 service, and the customer is paying for labor, not water. You have added the only thing capable of breaking you out of utility reseller economics, a margin you actually set yourself. And then the version of that idea that quietly runs the most profitable stores in the country, commercial accounts. The restaurant with the aprons and the linens, the salon with the towels, the gym,
The medical office. The Airbnb operator with 14 units in a mountain of sheets every single Sunday. These clients do not shop your price against the store 6 blocks away. They sign contracts. They deliver volume on a schedule, in bulk, at a negotiated rate, and they route it through machines that were otherwise sitting empty at 10 in the morning on a Wednesday. That is the whole reversal of this business. The retail customer, the person feeding quarters into a washer, is the low-margin filler. The commercial contract and the drop-off service are the profit. The best-run stores derive a large share of revenue from laundry whose owner never sets foot in the building. You are not running a laundromat. You are running a small utility company with a service business bolted onto the front, and the coin machines are just the part the public is allowed to see. Do it right, and the numbers get strange for a room this size.
A single, well-run store, 2,000 or 3,000 square feet with no full-time staff, nets 20 to 35% and returns its owners somewhere between $50,000 and $200,000 a year. Multi-store operators clear far more. Compare that to a restaurant, twice the square footage, with 15 employees, a chef, spoilage, reservations, and a 3 to 5% margin, grinding through 100 covers a night to make less than a room full of dryers that nobody is watching. That is how a laundromat out-earns businesses twice its size. Not because it makes so much, because it costs so little to run, and because it never, ever stops running. Now let's talk about what happens when nobody is here. Everything in this building is water under pressure. Every washer is a hose connected to a city main. Every drain is carrying thousands of gallons an hour of soapy discharge into a sewer line. And this facility runs mostly unsupervised. Nights, weekends, the hours when the coins keep dropping and the room is empty. A supply hose bursts at 2 a.m. and nobody is here. A drain backs up and pushes soapy gray water across the floor, and nobody is here. That water does not respect your lease line. It goes under the wall into the unit next door, the one with inventory on the floor. And now you are not dealing with a plumbing bill. You are dealing with somebody else's insurance company. And the lint. Every dryer in the room is filling with fine, dry, extremely flammable fiber day after day. Lint is one of the most reliable fire sources in the entire building trade, and you have 30 machines producing it in a room with gas lines running through it. Skip the cleaning schedule, and you're not running a laundromat anymore. You're running an unattended fire risk in a leased building. But the real buried liability isn't the water, and it isn't the fire. It's that word from earlier, the lease.
Here's the thing about a laundromat that nobody tells you until it's too late. You own the machines, but you almost never own the building. And your machines are not machines anymore. They are plumbed, trenched, gas-fitted, and bolted into somebody else's concrete. That $500,000 of equipment is functionally part of the property. Try to move it and you will discover that the cost of ripping it out, replumbing a new location, and reinstalling it approaches the cost of buying it new. It cannot leave. Which means at renewal, your landlord is holding every card in the deck. He knows you cannot walk. He knows what it would cost you to move because it is roughly the cost of your entire business. So the rent goes up, and you pay it, because the alternative is abandoning a facility you paid $500,000 to build inside a building you don't own. Your business isn't the machines. Your business is a long lease with a landlord who understands your position.
Get a 10 or 15-year term with defined renewal options, or don't buy the store at all. The equipment is replaceable. The lease is the asset. So what's the long-term threat? Not the electric car and not the internet. Nobody is going to download a clean towel. This business is genuinely immune to the forces dismantling most of American retail. The threat here is quieter and much stranger because it doesn't look like a threat at all. Your customer is a person who does not have a washing machine at home. That's it. That's the entire market. Not people with dirty clothes. Everyone has dirty clothes. Your customer is specifically the renter in the older building without hookups, the household in the dense neighborhood of walk-ups and multifamily units. Your business does not depend on the economy. It depends on the housing stock inside about a 1-mile radius, and on that housing stock staying exactly the way it is. Which brings us to the thing that kills laundromats.
It isn't recession. It's improvement. The neighborhood gets nicer. The old walk-ups get renovated, and renovation means in-unit hookups. A developer replaces the block of aging multifamily with new apartments, and every new apartment ships with a washer and dryer in the closet, because that is what tenants now expect. The rents rise, your renters leave, and their replacements have laundry in the unit. Your rent goes up with the neighborhood, and your customer count goes down. Meanwhile, the market rate for your commercial accounts and your drop-off service is the only thing holding. That is the quiet cruelty of this business. Every other retailer on your street is praying the neighborhood improves. You are the only one on the block who needs it to stay the same. And the count tells the story. There were roughly 35,000 laundromats in the United States in the 1990s. Today, there are about 20,000. Nothing disrupted them. The buildings just got better.
There are 20,000 laundromats left in America. They run without employees, without inventory, and without you in the room. They are close to recession-proof and close to internet-proof. A single store in a few thousand square feet can out-earn a restaurant twice its size with 15 people on payroll. because the dryers keep tumbling whether anyone is watching or not. But you are a utility reseller who cannot reprice. Your profit isn't in the wash, it's in the dryers, and in the laundry whose owner never walks through your door. Everything in the room is water under pressure in a building you don't own, and the landlord knows your machines can't leave. And the market you're serving disappears the moment your neighborhood gets nice enough for washing machines in the closet. The machines make money, and nobody is here. That part is true. The question is what happens on the night that something goes wrong, and nobody is here? You decide.